Hello guys! Because so many of you asked for this, I finally decided to make it. In today's video, I will rank all the games from Alice in Borderland Season 3. I don't have any particular criteria for my ranking. I'll purely base it on how much I enjoyed watching each game unfold. I've ranked them from worst to best. So without any further ado, let's start this ranking list. The most boring game, if you could even call it a game, is the final game Arisu plays in the season finale. I'm not talking about the possible future here, but the game played between the Watchman and Arisu, where Arisu had to pick one card from the two presented in front of him. The goal was to avoid choosing the Joker, but surprise, surprise, both cards were Jokers. The Watchman told Arisu that this was destiny, not a rigged game. I included this game because technically it's still considered a game. But let's move on to the actual challenges. One of the games I enjoyed the least was the Tokyo Bingo Tower. This game lacked drama. It was a simple physical challenge, tailored specifically for Usagi. Players needed to climb the tower and press buzzers placed at different levels. The rules resembled a classic bingo board, where you need to complete a horizontal, vertical, or diagonal line to win. The catch was that every time a buzzer was pressed, heavy ball bearings dropped from above, making the climb even more difficult. This game had nothing, absolutely nothing, considering it was one of the semifinals. It certainly didn't feel like one. If I were to assign a difficulty level, I would say this was at best a 6 of spades game. No major deaths, no impactful moments. The only suspense came when Ryuji saved Usagi from falling, which I found very bizarre. Usagi, the expert mountain climber, being caught by a guy who was paralyzed after climbing so high. From all of Season 3, this was my least favorite game. Moving on, surprisingly, or maybe not, we have another game completed by Usagi and Ryuji, the laser tag game. Recently, I learned from a YouTube video with the cast that the game's actual name is Rhythm. I think one reason I ranked it low was because we only see a glimpse of it, but I still enjoyed it more than the Tokyo Bingo Tower, maybe because of the cool laser effects. The players felt like they were in a Star Wars movie, preparing for a battle with the Jedi. Other than that, I don't have much else to comment about this game, except to note that I was wrong about the rules. The goal wasn't to survive for a certain amount of time. The challenge was to reach the end of the chamber within a time limit. The next game is the only one played in the real world, the Old Maid. I really enjoyed this game, and I thought it perfectly set the stage for what we would see in Season 3. I found it a bit odd that people actually died in the game, and even stranger that players continued without revolting or stopping after witnessing someone die. The pressure in this game was intense. The fear of drawing the Joker and losing, the anxiety of making a pair and ending up without cards, the pure horror on players' faces. It was masterfully done. Ryuji's manipulation at the end was top-notch. I'm not sure if this was intentional, but the show's creators seemed to purposefully make Usagi and Ryuji's games less interesting, dedicating all their attention to Arisu's games. Case in point, the Sacred Fortune game. Although I knew the rules and solutions from the manga, watching this game was a pleasure, especially the CGI in the 100 million arrow scene. Just imagine the horror of seeing the sky filled with fire, knowing it would soon rain down on you. Yep, you're doomed. If Arisu didn't catch those subtle hints, there was no way anyone could survive that flurry. The questions were also engaging. Not too easy, but not overly hard. The gradually increasing difficulty and shrinking margin of error slowly built fear in the players. By the 6th round, even answering a question felt risky, and one mistake could snowball into disaster. Still, I have a curiosity about this game. Is it really based on luck? Or were the draws predetermined? It seems like the latter is more likely. Imagine drawing a great curse at the start. There would be no way to dodge it. The only way to survive would be to draw that fortune in the 8th or 9th round, or to have drawn the Great Blessing one turn prior and figured out its clue. Next, we have the Kick the Can game. I don't know about you, but I found this game pretty interesting, and it fit the role of a semifinal much better than the Tokyo Tower game. The players' desperation and the battle royale at the end were insane. It also highlighted the importance of trusting your teammates, because there's no way to complete this game alone. This also created a fascinating dilemma. If you always trust your teammates and pass the can, do they trust you to return it, or will they prioritize their own safety and try to reach the end on their own? This game could have explored that theme more deeply, but I feel like after the train and zombie games, Arisu's team had complete faith in one another, and that's why they managed to have so many survivors. Kazuya's sacrifice at the end was absolutely badass. I felt really bad for him, not only because he didn't survive, but also because he was cold-heartedly killed by the other players. The game mechanics were also intriguing, with the propulsion device attached to the can and the sheer size of the playfield. Just imagine finding the can on the 9th floor with no one around to pass it within 60 seconds. Yeah, good luck surviving that. Walking in pairs was probably the best strategy, but then you wouldn't cover as much ground. Moving into the top 3, the podium starts with possible future. I was a little surprised to see so many people disappointed with this game. I agree that the rules had a lot of loopholes, but I still really enjoyed it. Seeing how human emotions took over cold logic and how chasing your ideal future only led to despair had a deeper meaning. I actually made a video explaining this game, so I won't go into too much detail here. I'll link that video in the description. The second spot is occupied by the train game. Despite what some people think, this game was not based on luck. All of Arisu's team surviving is proof of that. As I explained in my video on how to beat all the games, the key was the bird placed in each carriage. I was eager to see how Usagi's team would solve it, and honestly, I thought Ryuji would figure it out. I was surprised to see the train nerd discovering the gas tanks, and even more surprised to learn it was pure luck. He didn't figure anything out. That episode ending was excellent, with the tense premise that everyone could die because of Usagi's mistake. Imagine being a player at that moment, knowing you've signed your own death sentence. Seeing Usagi and her team clear the game felt almost like cheating, but I still really liked it. I was always looking for clues that would connect to the poison carts. This game also gave us the most badass scene of the entire season. Arisu and his team chilling, knowing they had completed the game without casualties, while Usagi's team was on the verge of death and surviving purely by luck. And my favorite game of the season, as I mentioned in my review video, is the zombie hunt game. The number of plot twists in this game is insane, and watching Arisu play was pure brilliance. Not only did he hide being a zombie from the start, but knowing this, you can appreciate his genius in handling the girl who had been turned into a zombie and was trying to turn him too. Initially, I thought Arisu wasn't a zombie and had manipulated her, but then we learned he was a zombie from the very beginning. I also enjoyed Rei's introduction. She felt like a Chishiya substitute, manipulating everyone into thinking she was a zombie. The only thing I was a little disappointed by was that the vaccine card didn't come into play. It seemed like her only purpose was emotional manipulation. Overall, this was my favorite game of Season 3. So there you have it, all the games from Alice in Borderland Season 3 ranked. I didn't go into more detail here, because I already explained them in my other video. In this one, I just shared my overall opinion. Thank you for watching, and let me know your ranking as well.